Welcome. I'm Lake. My guest today is Dr. Wasim Ahmed, Senior Lecturer in Marketing at the University of Hull in the United Kingdom. His research sits at the intersection of computational social science and real-world impact, examining online harms, misinformation, and digital communication across health, sports marketing, and online communities. With over 50 journal articles, more than 3,000 citations, and collaborations with World Health Organization, CERN, the BBC, Ofcom, and Manchester United Football Club, his work bridges the gap between academic insight and practical action. Today, we're exploring how network science can help us understand the digital spaces where people connect, play, and communicate. Wasim, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Thanks a lot for the invitation. It's really great to connect like this and get to speak about social network science.
My pleasure. So let's start with a big picture. When most people study social media, they focus on content or individual behavior, and I'm sure that's some of the research you do as well. But you also take a different approach in some ways, where you study network science, which can help us understand social media environments in ways that those content-focused and or individual level approaches often miss.
Y-
So tell us about that.
Yeah, it's great question. So, one of the advantages of a social network science approach is the ability to move beyond just looking at text outputs, kind of sentiment scores, whether things are positive, negative, and analyzing that. We're actually being able to gain a hidden insight into the relationships and interactions between different users. So a lot of our research on online platforms around popular culture, social entertainment, and even misinformation, network shapes and structures. We look at the users, how they interact with each other, who's replying to other users, who's being reposted, which content is being shared the most. When we look at those patterns in aggregate over thousands of connections and relationships, we're able to understand where the power lies, who's influential nodes, who's an influential user. We're able to also pinpoint whether people are being reposted, content is being reshared as well. And these days, especially with the rise of algorithmic content, trending posts, being able to actually have an X-ray using network analysis, we're able to understand visibility, virality, polarization as well by having these amazing network visualizations and associated with that, a lot of network in kind of insights as well. So in terms of the key kind of benefit with the text data, you're seeing individual kind of content, whereas with the network analysis, we're seeing groups form and understanding that it's not just one or two users, it's a group of users kind of working together on social platforms.
That's great. And that does provide a very helpful foundation as we begin our talk. So, if network science gives us this structural lens, this way of seeing relationships and patterns, I'm curious about where it's most powerful. From your research experience, what kinds of social questions are best suited to a network perspective, particularly in a digital and platform mediated environment?
Yes, great question. A lot of our research has been context dependent. And in any online case where there's been a rapid diffusion or spread of information, for example, we wrote a paper looking at the first 24 hours of the release of the Squid Game TV show by Netflix. By being able to look at that concentrated window, we're able to see information diffusion, spread, key opinion leaders at that specific time. Any other time where there's gatekeeping involved, where it's disinformation being spread, coordination, collective action, we're able to use network science and um, particularly social network analysis using tools like NodeXL Pro are able to give us easy insight into those different platforms and actually understand the users, how they're kind of communicating with each other and how they're being structured as well in specifically in entertainment, and so we've done some work around also digital gaming as well, things like the esports tournaments as well. Uh, they're quite rich because it's quite tightly connected communities of vast amounts of content
Mhm.
that manually looking at just the text would take hundreds of hours to analyze. Whereas with network science and automated tools, we can easily kind of see the network shape and structure as well. So I think anything that has any form of traction on social platforms where the users have an impact on are really well suited for this type of research.
Indeed, indeed, and network science indeed is fascinating. Now, I want to narrow our focus a bit. When we look at platforms where people gather around for entertainment, as you were mentioning, in gaming, spaces like X, Reddit, Discord, Twitch, and YouTube as prominent platforms, do you see meaningful differences in the network structures that emerge? And a related thing would be, does each platform produce its own kind of community shape?
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant question. So this is one question we get as well. So I've been working with different students, and they often say, "Oh, we've got data from X, now we got it from YouTube. Why does it look different?" And the platforms have different technological affordances. So the way they set up X public platform, when we get the data, we're looking at everything as a whole. Huge amount of accounts are public, and so the visuals are quite spread out, and it's anyone talking about that particular topic. YouTube is completely different. It's based around comments. Say if we're looking at a video, it'd be the people posting replies and comments on that video. So we already got quite a narrow network view, and it'll be highly clustered around those kind of comments and discussions as well. Other things that also impact the visualization sometimes is availability of data, being able to get that data. Forum-based platforms where people are posting, replying, the community dynamics will be completely different to something like X, more based around amplification rather than kind of in-depth discussion as well. So in different platforms, you might get fragmented networks, sub-networks as well. Some might have high broadcasts, others will be highly centralized core discussions as well.
Mhm.
So you will get quite a lot of differences across the different platforms that sometimes might make that comparison between those difficult. But within the same platform, there's different network visuals you could actually compare and kind of get some insights as well.
Right, right. Thank you for that perspective. And it is obvious that platforms do shape the networks in distinct ways. One thing that fascinates me about entertainment and gaming spaces, especially, is that the influence isn't always obvious. I mean, that's some of the research that I've done as well, and I'm sure you've looked into it more. The person with the biggest follower count isn't necessarily the most central figure in the network or in the community. So, how does a network lens help you identify those truly influential actors, which are so important to find out, right? So, um, the ones with the more importance might be invisible if we only looked at surface metrics. So, if you can
Yes,
offer some insights into that area.
yeah, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant question there. So that's one of the powers we found with the network analysis approach. Often when we can understand that, okay, these are the popular accounts, they've got the most visibility, they're out there, millions of followers, but
Mhm.
often that doesn't necessitate structural importance when we look at the actual network. We found particularly applying network analysis within popular culture, within digital gaming, that it was able to uncover those users that might not necessarily have a big following. Some of the surprising things we found is as little as 100 followers, 50 followers, but those are really important accounts that are bridging impactful users. So sometimes you might get an account with 100, 200 followers, but they're being followed by millions in terms of five or six users might have millions of followers themselves, and they're able to cascade that message to a wider path as well. So it's giving us that hidden knowledge without using this network science network tools, the different algorithms. We just wouldn't be able to see that information.
Mhm.
And really, with popular culture, because it's such a kind of vast areas, vast topics people are speaking about all around the world. So the Squid Game TV show, we had worldwide discussions, all sorts of accounts posting, and we found users that we wouldn't have expected to be so impactful and influential, maybe posted something interesting that others have liked, and they'd had big control over that network as well.
Okay, that's
Um,
great. Uh-huh. So this is valuable for anyone studying or trying to make sense of these communities. And I know we have researchers and graduate students or even undergraduate students who are watching this and who might want to apply these methods in their own work. So for those looking to study social entertainment or gaming specifically through a network lens, what are the conceptual or methodological challenges that they should be especially mindful of?
yes, great question. I think one of the big concerns that I've been writing blogs and kind of doing this now almost 10 years. One of the biggest issues the students will face, and it's really important to prepare for this before committing to a topic, or if you're doing a dissertation or kind of writing a paper, just right at the start, make sure this is clear. So the ability to actually access the data in the first place.
Mhm.
One thing over time of learned is well, you also need backup access as well. So relying sometimes on official APIs our access and making one platform your sole research area, it can be really risky as well. So I know people's entire PhDs and master's proposals massively disrupted because platform has just pulled its API, or it's no longer possible to get that data at the scale that they wanted without other kind of solutions at the core. And you'll have your own ethical approval, you'll have your own system set up, and then quickly pivoting can be really tricky. So being able to understand, okay, there might be some risks here, or having a multi-platform approach. It was one issue with access to that data as well. Others have also been just being careful and mindful of what you're actually studying using network analysis, um, thinking about what it reveals, trying to interpret it within the bounds of what we're seeing, and not trying to justify or make claims of a whole social media platform, but just the instance that you're looking at as well. Others could also be sometimes dealing with other ethical issues as well, in terms of institutions, being careful of what's being revealed,
Mhm.
individual accounts, could potential harm be caused to some users if they're in the public domain as well. And the final aspect would be the interpretation as well, just making sure that we're understanding what the network means in interpreting it, what it means kind of socially, using different theories, not just running the analysis, having a nice visual, but actually being able to understand to other audiences what this represents and kind of connecting it to any sociological theory or within kind of popular culture, literature as well.
All right. And thank you for that insight. So access to data is, of course, a lot of the platforms are not very generous in terms of what we can get from those APIs. So how do you handle those kind of challenges in terms of data access?
Yes, good point. There are a lot of other organizations and academics that have provided different tools to be able to access the data in hybrid formats. So Node Excel Pro is one tool. They've got some APIs built in there that use hybrid forms to go on onto X, download posts, put them into your particular tool. There's other also tools out there as well, things like Zsumma, which allows you to and get data from different platforms. I believe it's got coverage on things like TikTok, X, and a couple of other platforms as well. So there's always an academic community building these different tools, often low cost stuff, completely free in the case of Zsumma, to allow academics to have the ability to get that
Mhm.
data as well. And often, what I recommend to students is never rely just on one tool. Think about, okay, we've got this tool, this way of accessing it, but there's also these several others just in case something breaks, something goes wrong with that. So you've actually got a backup for your research.
Great. So since Facebook being one of the giants in the industry, are there any tools that you would recommend, or if there's anything we can get Facebook network data?
Uh, so I've not looked into Facebook for a while. Possibly it could be worth consulting something like Zsumma.
Okay.
If not, I do also know there's a wide range of now AI-based tools that claim to get data from all these other platforms.
Hmm.
So there may be some way to actually produce some form of online coding where these AI tools could actually go to Facebook and get the data that you need.
Okay. All right. So yes, there are indeed real hurdles, but the insights obviously make it worthwhile, all those challenges that we have to overcome. So let's talk about impact beyond academia now. How do you see network science informing real world practices? Things like platform governance, community moderation, or strategic decision making especially in entertainment and gaming industries.
Yeah, very another good question there. So with the stuff we did around Netflix TV shows, particularly looking at Squid Game and understanding what was actually happening in that network from a industry decision-making entertainment perspective, our analysis, you could actually apply that to other domains, and this could actually be used to understand creator systems
Hmm.
holistically. So we found all, say, the 10, say, top actors who were promoting the show. And out of those, I think only two or three were actually affiliated with Netflix. The others were just organic. So you've got huge amount of organic social users actually posting, and a lot of these brands often want to understand who they are to try and work with those users and monitor what types of information they might be sharing. So also sometimes collaborations or
Hmm.
inviting them, some brands will be interested in as well. Others might be from a more kind of monitoring perspective, doing network analysis, understanding if that community might break down, might get fragmented as well. And also, you can think about how to develop interventions, social media content that encourage more interaction patterns and more cascading, kind of more broadcast networks as well. Others might be interested in seeing how you could support different users, bridge different networks, and also identify key issues as well from a monitoring perspective as well, getting feedback. So I know in the past, some sports clubs have used platforms like X when they're launching a new football kit to actually analyze that data in real time and understand it. Yeah, but also some of the engagements we've done, for example, around platform governance and content moderation has been around the rise of disinformation.
Hmm.
And some of the UK regulators have been really interested to understand how disinformation is spreading. And we've gone and presented our research actually showing the impact of not taking content down too quickly, how it can kind of cascade as well. So there's quite a lot of real world impact across kind of industry for decision making, but also for platform governance as well as kind of moderation.
Great, great. And lots of policies and applications are already taking shape, as we can tell. So to close, I'd love to hear what's on the horizon for you. Looking ahead, what excites you most about the future of network science?
Yes, one area that we've really been interested in is to pair some of these tools with more qualitative data as well and other data sets outside of social media data as well. So we can actually even take interview data and do kind of semantic network analysis. We can look at offline networks as well, not necessarily social media data. And we're able to get a more varied set of data and understand these visualizations as well. Other areas of interest is actually the role now of AI
Hmm.
accounts and agents and what types of impact they're actually having on these social networks. So, for example, on X, a lot of users now are calling to Grok to explain things, to have information. And surprisingly, in some of the research we've been doing,
Hmm.
where we wouldn't expect an AI such as Grok to be such an impactful account, was actually quite influential. It's actually shaping the network. Over time, as these AI agents become more influential within the network, it'll be interesting to study how they're having an impact, what types of attention they're leading to, and how we can actually study that as well. So there's a lot of interesting developments at the moment around that as well.
Great. Well, that's exciting. All these wonderful developments are hopefully going to propel us into an age where we can better understand communities in the online world. Wasim, thank you so much for your thoughtful insights and our conversation. So,
Yeah.
for those watching, leave links to Dr. Wasim's profile and his work in the description. If you are a researcher, a student, or simply curious about how online communities really function, it's well worth exploring. So Wasim, thanks again for your time and your insights. If you found this valuable, subscribe and share it with someone who would appreciate it. Stay curious, stay connected, and keep asking questions. See you next time. Thank you.
Great. Thanks.